All right, so what we're transitioning to is insights from our award-winning help desk team. Help Desk International ranked, through a series of surveys, ranked Synergist Software's help desk in the top 10 2 years in a row. So, and you guys have always given us really phenomenal feedback on the help desk team. We've got the entire team here to each share insights with you from the help desk, answers to the most commonly asked questions. So with that, I'm going to announce Patty Hubach, our help desk manager.
Thanks, Scott. So as Scott said, I'm Patty Hubach. I'm the help desk manager. I've been the manager of help desk since 2010. I have over 25 years experience working in a customer support environment. I'm also my daughter's Daisy Scout troop leader, and I enjoy swimming, being outdoors, and I'm a big fan of superhero movies, so that's why we got Groot there. So a little bit about the Synergist Software Help Desk. As Scott mentioned, we ranked in the top 10 2 years in a row. Last year, we took a little bit of a drop and we came in at number 13, but we're still in the top 50 help desks that are monitored by Help Desk International, and it's all based upon the surveys that we get back from you guys. For last year, on a scale of 1 to 5, the overall help desk score was a 4.95 in overall customer satisfaction. For a little statistics, we handle over 350 customer requests each month. Even though we have an SLA, which, a time to get back to you guys of 4 hours, we're regularly getting back to all of our customers within 90 minutes of the time you call. So nobody has to wait long to be able to speak with, one of our representatives. And as you know, we can, we always make sure we can get to development or however we need to go to resolve your needs. All right. All right, so a little bit about the presentation you're going to see today. Me and my staff, we got together, we reviewed all the calls that have come in to help desk over the past year. We took a look at some of the topics, which ones would be best to present, and these are some of the top calls or top things that we feel is going to help our customers so that you're better able to help yourselves. So our first presenter for today is John DeSantis. He comes here to us from the Gulf Coast of Florida. He has been with Synergist for over 6 years now. He has over 15 years of IT support experience, and he enjoys watching hockey and football. All right. There you go.
How y'all doing? So the first thing I'm going to talk about is what to do when an Adept window is off the screen. We get calls from time to time where customers are saying that the system has locked up when they're trying to do either a check-in or a check-out. And you can still work within Windows, but the Adept functionality seems to have froze. In those cases, we found out that the Windows, one of the Adept dialog boxes has been moved off the screen. So to do child sign out, the box gets relocated. That would happen when you're checking out a file. When you're doing a check-in, it's going to be on the library picker window. This is usually more common in multiple monitor situations or when you have a laptop. Take the laptop off the docking station and the window ends up shifted off. So in order to take care of it, there is a Windows function that you can activate using a keyboard combination set. So you would press the Alt spacebar M key, hold all three down, and then once you release them, you're going to get a window. It'll do a 4-squared cursor, and using the left and right arrow keys, you can move the window back into the screen. Once it's placed back in the center of the screen again, just click close, and you can move on as normal. If you do encounter an issue where that doesn't work for you, give us a call. That's what we're here for. The next issue we're looking at is receive request has failed. This can be on sign in or sign out, or sign in or sign out or rename a file. So when you're looking at, it'll happen through the approval process. It can happen on check-in by itself. It basically means that Adept can't find the file. There's two possible causes. If you're using an AFS vault, there may be a missing file in the library that it's looking for, or there may be a date-time mismatch. If the issue is in a direct access, or you're seeing it in a direct access vault, chances are that the file isn't there. We need to go and look for it. So what you want to look at is figure out which version of the file you're looking for. The document dashboard versions tab will contain the versions of the file that are currently there. If you're trying to look at the in status version, you can also see that from just your search results. If you're working with a versioned or review file, you may need to grab that from the dashboard and look it up. But we would also need to choose either an admin who has access to the Adept Vault system, or get IT involved to get remote desktop access into the system. So once you're remoted into the server, you want to confirm that the file exists. So you browse down to the AD lib folder, make sure the file's there. If it's a version file, if it's on the root, it'll be in the root of the library directory. If the file isn't there, you're going to need to copy it in from a different location. If you're using AFS and the file's there, chances are it's a date-time mismatch issue. So if you're running into the date-time mismatch, you're going to have to bring up the dashboard like you would see it here. So you want to make sure that you check the option to show Adept date time if it isn't checked already. You want to click on the set filter option. This will allow you to browse to the file or give you an option to bring the file up. You type in the file name, you click OK. You want to go to the middle column of the dashboard, and then you want to drill down to the library where the file resides. If it's a version file, it's going to be within the AD lib folder. The file's there and it's got a mismatch, you're going to see it like this. It's going to display in orange. Helps to find it when you're digging around and you got a bunch of files to look for. You want to highlight on that file, click on the folder file menu, and then choose a push date time. Make sure the file is highlighted and make sure the option by file is checked. Otherwise, you're going to push it to all files in that library, and that can take a little bit longer. Once you click OK, go back to Adept, you should be able to access the file again. If you cannot, give us a call. Thanks a lot.
Great, thank you, John. All right, so the next technician we're going to be having presenting today is Glenda Petite. She's been employed with the Synergist Helpdesk for over 7 years now. She has 30 years of IT experience in a variety of industries, from banking to power companies to government facilities. Something she enjoys doing is hanging with her 13-year-old, cooking and reading. She loves to travel. She's been to over 30 countries. She plans to go to a lot more. I asked her what her favorite destination was, and it was the south of France. All right, take it away, Glenda.
Hello, everybody. I am here today to talk about a couple of hints and tips for our viewer and for PublishWave. So enabling office markups is one item that we seem to get a lot of calls on because it's not turned on by default. You'll go into your Adept viewer, you'll open a document, docx file, an Excel file, and you'll want to do red lines on it, but you can't because it's either grayed out, or when you click on the menu, nothing happens. So to enable the Office markups, we're going to go old school. We're going to go to Windows Explorer. We're going to navigate to the All Users INI file. That's going to be in C, Program Files x86, Synergis, Adept 10, Client, Viewer, AutoView Desktop Deployment, bin. Yes, I say that a lot. But the All Users INI has all of your settings for the viewer in it. The one we're going to add is under the Options section. We're going to add Enable Office Markups equals 1. You save that file and close it. The next time you close and open the Adept Viewer, it'll be enabled. And you can now open a document file or an Excel spreadsheet and click on the red line menu, and redline it will. One of the next things is about Adept PublishWave shortcuts. Now, when you install PublishWave, we automatically put some really helpful shortcuts in the menu, in the Start menu. Under the Synergis folder, you're going to find a PublishWave folder. Inside that PublishWave folder, you have your PublishWave admin that automatically goes on your desktop too, your PublishWave server, and then two of my favorites, the Unlock PublishWave server and your status reset button. The status reset button under the PublishWave folder is so that you can reset failed jobs. If you find that you've got a couple of jobs in your PublishWave input queue, they didn't publish for some reason, you can send them back through to get them to publish. Inside of the PublishWave folder, there's also a Publish to Adept. We recently added the status reset on Publish to Adept jobs as well, because we were having to go back in and edit the P2A file in order to reset the status and get those systems, or get the files to process through again. So a couple of really helpful tools there. The last thing I'm going to talk to you about today is what to do when PublishWave is locked. You come in the morning, your server's ready to get started up, and you get a message that says the system is locked when you try to start your PublishWave server. Well, you go back to your PublishWave icon that says Unlock PublishWave Server. My personal favorite is to copy this to your desktop so you don't even have to go search for it. So I'll copy the shortcut to the desktop, hit that button. You can also, if you're old school, like I can be some days, you can type in a full command line that will allow you to unlock with PublishWave. You'll receive this system is unlocked message. That's a magic message. And then when you start up your PublishWave server, everything starts successfully. If this doesn't happen, give us a call. Because, once again, there may be another issue. The change on the Enable Office markups, I should mention this, it's very important. It is not a global change. This is a change for each individual user system. So if you want to make that change to a group of user systems, you can edit one All Users INI and copy it to the other machines. Little helpful tip there. Thank you all very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your stay here, and thanks.
All right, thank you, Glenda. All right, coming up next is Paul Greenback. He has been with us for 4 years now. Before coming to Synergis, he was an Adept administrator as well as a CAD systems administrator for over 10 years. He studied fine art and music at MICA, TSU, and several other places. A little tidbit about Paul is he has one of the largest collections of lava lamps on the East Coast. Come on, Paul.
Okay, so the first thing you need to know is I studied music and fine arts, not public speaking, so this could be a little rough. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to talk about is the message that you might receive logging into Adept. If you're receiving it, probably everyone else in your office is also receiving it, and it reads the Adept server has no task manager running. Looks like that, and it's usually caused by the Adept service being started up before the SQL or Oracle database service is available, or if that service is otherwise unavailable. And it can most often be resolved by stopping the Adept service, then verifying that the database server is available and running, and then restarting the Adept service. So the first thing you would do is you would locate the Adept service in Windows Services, and then you would want to stop that service. Next thing you want to do is you want to verify that the database is available. If the database is running on another server besides Adept, you have to make sure that that server is indeed running. And one way you can find out that the service is running is you can open the licensing tool and go to the configuration tab and hit test and see if you can get a successful connection to that. If you do get a successful connection, the next thing you'd want to do is probably start the Synergist Adept server application and just make sure that that starts up without errors. If that does start without errors, then you can go ahead and close that, and well, if it starts up without errors, you would then want to go ahead and make sure that you can log in, and once you've verified that you can log into the client, you probably want to go back and stop the Adept server application and restart the Adept service. One thing that you want to take note of is you never ever want to have the application and the service running at the same time. So definitely, if your Adept service is running, don't start the server application. If the Adept server application is running, don't start the Adept service. So that's basically, mostly that's all we have to do with that. I have seen cases where everything goes fine, but the message still pops up. In that case, I would suggest stopping the Adept service, stopping and restarting the database service, then restart the Adept service again and retest. If all of that fails, then of course, give Helpdesk a call. Okay. All right. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is a message that you can get when you're trying to access files, and it's failed to establish connection to the Vault's host. And this is a fairly straightforward message. It indicates that Adept cannot find the data vault. It can't find the vault or the files, and it can't find the vault or the server that's hosting the files. So basically, again, if the server for your Adept Vault, where your libraries and your files live, is not the same server that Adept is on, you want to make sure that the server is online and available to the network. One thing you might do is you might try to ping that server and see if you get a response back. That would indicate that the server is indeed available. Unfortunately, some companies do disable the ping command, so just because you don't get a successful ping does not mean that the server is not there. You might need to check with your IT department or actually go look at the physical service server and make sure that it's up and running. At any rate, once you have, so basically, the other thing to remember is there could be a firewall blocking this, or it could be blocked by VPN or something else like that. So, at any rate, once you've determined that the Vault server is actually online, you need to know what type of vault you're running. It could be AFS, which stands for Adept File System. You might be running FTP vaults, or you could be running direct access vaults. If you are running AFS vaults, you want to make sure that the Adept File System core service is running on the AFS server. And this is probably the #1 cause for this error message, failed to establish a connection, is probably due to the AFS service not running. FTP is a little more complicated. If you're running the FTP vault, you'll probably receive a communications error, a communications exception error, and when you respond to that, then you'll get the failed to establish connection to the vault's host. And basically, at this point, you want to make sure that the FTP server is running, and then that you can access it from the workstation that you're trying to access files from through Adept. Basically, you can try logging into FTP just from a Windows command prompt using the username and password that are configured in Adept and make sure that you can connect to it. One thing that's important to note is if you can't connect to the FTP vault from Windows, you will not be able to access files from Adept. So if you can't connect from Windows, then there's some other problem that you want to look into. Common problems that you might have with FTP vaults, that could be blocked by a firewall, there could be, the ports could be blocked by a VPN, and there are a number of other issues that could happen with the FTP things, but the first thing you want to make sure of is FTP running and can you connect to it through Windows. And then finally, if you're running direct access vaults, direct access vaults actually don't ever give you, so far as I know, the failed to establish a connection to the vault's host. You're more likely to get an error message saying that the file cannot be found or accessed. The thing that you need to know about direct access vaults is they have to be shared from Windows, and all Adept users have to have Windows permissions to access the share. If that's not true, then you won't be able to get to the files. So finally, if the vault server is online and available from the network, and all the appropriate services and permissions are in place and you're still unable to access your files, call the help desk. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Paul. All right. Now coming up next, we have Myra Spangler. She joined my team 6 years ago as a help desk technician. Previously, she worked at Crayola for over 20 years. She wore several hats in different areas in engineering, as well as being the Adept administrator at Crayola. She loves to cook and bake, and she is a huge fan of The Walking Dead. So Myra.
Thank you. Okay, today I'm going to talk a little bit about our customer portal site. Help Desk frequently gets calls on where to find the software downloads. I'm going to tell you. For those who might not be familiar with our customer portal, you can access that by going to https://portal.synergistsoftware.com. If you don't have a customer portal account, you'll need to register for one. That could be done right on our login page by selecting the Click Here link right next to the Need to Register. Once you've logged in, you could access all your software downloads. Anything that you're licensed for in Adept should be available here for download. The customer portal site also has training videos and Work Like a Pro series. A lot of people aren't familiar with this. The training videos contain topics like reporting, transmittal, AFS, just to name a few. Our Work Like a Pro series are previously recorded web sessions on topics like AutoCAD integration, workflows, and PublishWave, and several more. A little note on the videos, all the training videos are based in 2015 software. Most of the information will still apply in Adept 2017. All the Work Like a Pro series are based in 2017 software. Another good tool you can find on our customer portal site is the Help Desk portal. If you find you do not have access to the Help Desk portal, just contact Help Desk and we can help you set up that access. On the Help Desk portal, you can log help desk tickets, and those will be submitted directly to our support queue. In addition to logging help tickets, you could also view all the cases that you previously logged. A lot of users find this helpful because sometimes they'll have an issue. 6 months later, they know that they called it into help desk, and they know they had a solution for it, but they don't remember what it was. So that they could just go research that themselves and find that solution on their own. Okay, moving ahead to help topics. We also get quite a few calls just for people looking for more information or on features or functions. The most common way that users access help topics is simply by going to the help menu in Adept and either performing a search or browsing through the index section for the help topics. And I don't know if you've ever actually done a search in the help topics, but you get a ton of results. Can be good, can be bad sometimes. The help topics are also accessible in each Adept dialog. Every time you open Adept dialog, you're going to see a help button there. Just like we see here, did I go back too far? Oh, there we go. Just like we see here in the Import Excel Spreadsheet dialog box. Selecting the help button in any dialog will open the help topic specific to the dialog you're currently in. For this particular help topic, we just see a general overview. But as you notice, there's several hyperlinks throughout this document. Clicking any of those hyperlinks are going to take you to additional information related specifically to that topic. Relying on the help button in the Adept dialogues really streamlines your searching capabilities and can really help you save time and frustration when you're looking for specific topics relating to what you're working on. And that pretty much sums up help topics. Thanks.
All right, so I hope that everybody found this information helpful. And then next time you see one of those errors, you'll feel empowered to be able to go ahead and troubleshoot those. But if you run into any errors, as many of my staff has said, just call Help Desk. We're here to help you. If you have any questions, we're in the Lafayette room, which is over in the corner over there. Just stop on by. You don't need an appointment or anything. You just come on, just say hi. It's nice to put faces to names. And, if you do have any questions about the software, we're happy to help.